Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
The former Foreign Affairs Minister weighs in on rising tensions between the U.S. and China.
The housing minister responds to criticism of that highly anticipated Disney EIA.
A family is praying for the safe return of a 13-year-old girl.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News, and thank you for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Topping news tonight, the estranged wife of a prominent attorney hit with 4 counts of charges today related to drugs and an unlicensed firearm. This after she and 3 other adults were found in the Newgate home where 3 men were shot and killed by police last Friday. They will not have their faces plastered across newspapers, nor be shown on TV in this matter, after police took 65-year-old Jane Hilton in through the back door of the Magistrates Court complex Monday morning. Hilton is the estranged wife of prominent attorney Cecil Hilton. She, as well as 47-year-old Kimberly Smith, 19-year-old Christina Wilson, and 19-year-old Shaquille Morley were all charged with 2 counts of possession of an unlicensed firearm. Police reportedly found a silver .9mm pistol and a .45mm pistol, along with ammunition in this pink 3-story Newgate home early Friday morning, shortly after killing 3 suspects. All of the suspects were taken into custody because they were allegedly in the home at the time. An alleged gang leader who was charged with murder multiple times was one of the men killed. The 4 people found in the home also picked up a charge of possession of dangerous drugs after police found 23 pounds of Indian hemp worth $23,000 on the property. They all pleaded not guilty to the charges and were denied bail. In court, the attorney for the lone male, Ian Jubb, said his client had to get stitches, claiming he was gun-butted by a male officer when police charged into the home early that morning. Jubb said his client says he was downstairs asleep on the couch before he was gun-butted. Attorney Wilbur Delaveau, who represents 19-year-old Christina Wilson, said when she was arrested, she too was abused, saying she was stomped in her back by a male officer. The attorney also says the 19-year-old would like to see a doctor as she believes she is pregnant. Attorney Christina Galano said her client, 47-year-old Kim Smith, is 3 months pregnant and claims she was kicked in her stomach by a female officer. She also claims the officer told her, "You're not going to bring another killer in the world." Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt allowed the suspects to speak with their family members who were present in court. The 2 pregnant suspects wept uncontrollably while embracing their loved ones. They returned to court on October 22nd. In other news, a family is asking for your help in locating a 13-year-old girl who vanished from her South Beach home after 10 last night. Giorgio Bain has the story.
The family of 13-year-old Angel Knowles is asking for your help after a girl they describe as sweet and friendly has gone missing. Her grandmother went into her room after 10 last night and found her room empty. Now her family is just hoping that she's returned home safe. The 13-year-old shares the South Beach home with her grandparents. Her tearful grandmother, Naomi Douglas, is praying for the teen's safe return. Douglas told Our News she last saw Angel before going to bed, but when she got up to secure their home, Angel was gone.
About 10 o'clock last night, I got upstairs and checked the house, make sure everything is locked down. So when I get to her room, I opened the door, I see in the bed, so I went looking around to the bottom in the kitchen for she was not there.
Douglas says with every passing hour, the feeling of helplessness gets worse.
You know, because I raised her, I had her from a baby when she born. And just like sometimes, I said, oh Lord, I said, what is this? And I know this child never do such a thing of this sort.
Angel's mother, Cheryl Douglas, said that she never expected something like this to happen to her only daughter. And she is clinging to hope that she will call to say she's safe.
It's not normal. That's why I can't understand what's going on. She's a carefree, like to laugh, make jokes, very frenzy, like friends. But that's about it. I have no idea with her even doing something like this. And I'm figuring if she did do it, or wherever she is, I mean, she would have called me by now.
Meanwhile, Angel's uncle, Michael Douglas, publicly pleaded with his niece to come home.
Please come home. Everybody's waiting for you. You know, I'm not gonna beat you. I'm not gonna argue with you. I just need to know what's going on so I can get you the better help. Please, we love you. Come on, Angel. come home.
Whoever get her, please bring her in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. Bring my grandchild back home here. Please, I'm pleading.
Reporting for our news, I'm Georgia Bain.
Amid tension between the United States and China, former Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell is warning the Minnis administration to stay out of it. This after a U.S. official warned Caribbean countries about China and Russia's influence. Jasmine Brown reports.
Mitchell warned that the tensions between the United States and China have absolutely nothing to do with the Bahamas, as he warned local officials to stay out of it.
There are geopolitical forces at work in the world where there are tensions which now obtain, and those are obvious, between the second largest economy in the world, which is the People's Republic of China, which is about 12 trillion, and the United States of America, which, on the other hand, which is the first economy in the world, which is about 20 trillion. And they are trying to sort out what their relationship is going to be going forward. And there's an old expression, you know, when the elephants fight, the ants get trampled. So we are not in that fight.
Mitchell's comments come days after U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for Western Hemisphere Affairs Kimberly Breer said the Caribbean is a strategic priority for the United States. While speaking at the Caribbean United States Security Corporation Dialogue, Breer warned Caribbean countries about China and Russia's involvement in the region, noting that China has more capital invested in the Caribbean on a per capita basis than it does in Latin America. However, Mitchell insisted there was nothing wrong with Chinese investors backing projects in the Bahamas.
So far, what we've seen is commercial investments. And so far, what we know is the people who have been lending the money and investing the money have a different race than we are. And as I said, you have to be very careful how these buzzwords are being used. The question is whether it has damaged the economy. And I think you take note of what everybody has to say, but you have to keep your rational mind in the greater interest of our country.
Mitchell, who also served as Foreign Affairs Minister in the last Christie administration, also fired back at American right-wing news organization One America News over a report on Bahamas-China relations. The report, which has since gone viral, asserted that China, through capital investments, is sinking its claws in the Bahamas. It also stated China had free rein in the Bahamas. Mitchell says he does not believe that China has any illicit plans for the country.
We have, during our time, had excellent relations with both the People's Republic of China and with the United States of America. And there is no evidence, as far as we can tell, of any hegemonic designs by the People's Republic of China on the Bahamas or a security threat to the United States. And from the U.S. side, as I said, the Bahamas remains firmly within its geopolitical ambit. And so these kinds of alarms, I think one has to, take them advisedly.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
As the Minnis administration prepares to present its 2019-2020 budget, opposition leader Philip Davis says his party has no confidence in the government's ability to put politics aside and bring to Parliament realistic and a practical budget. During a news conference at PLP headquarters, Davis said he expects Finance Minister Peter Turnquist to deliver the third budget communication on or before May 29th. He says despite government's decision to forego a debate after presenting the mid-year budget, that won't be happening this time.
We have no confidence in this government's ability to effectively and practically manage our public finances because, one, they have missed critical fiscal targets for the last two budgetary cycles, and two, because they failed to present realistic budget estimates.
Turnquist said last week there won't be any major tax adjustments in the upcoming budget, but government will introduce a new revenue collecting streams. Davis says the government needs to abandon its disastrous and failed fiscal policies.
The finance minister and his cabinet colleagues, led by the prime minister, are bloody-minded and intransigent in their desire to abandon the well-considered plans for the modernization of the Bahamas left in place by the Progressive Liberal Party administration, so that they could essentially mortgage the assets of the state to the benefit of foreigners, friends, families, and political cronies.
Now considering government's inability to meet GDP growth targets or its expense obligations, Davis says its options for the upcoming budget are limited and bleak.
Increase taxes and or fees and push the economy into a recession, or drastically cut recurrent and capital expenditure and hasten our economy's descent into recession, or borrow from the central bank, or borrow internationally. That too puts the US dollar peg under pressure. Or, and this is the one I think they should adopt, find any excuse to abandon the disastrous and failed fiscal policies of the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance.
Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis will deliver his third national address for the year tonight, highlighting efforts to digitize and modernize government services and the implementation of a system to clear the land application backlog and restructure the application process for Crown land. An overview of the ongoing roadworks program throughout the country, major capital works, the New Providence landfill, and environmental conservation initiatives will also be highlighted. The address will air on RTV tonight at 8 p.m. Still to come, the Environment Minister promises to make the Disney EIA for Lighthouse Point public. Plus, senators pass a resolution to pave the way for a high-end hotel in Norman's Key. Stay tuned.